Hello, BookTube. Well, despite the blinding slush and sleet in the air, the mail did arrive. In fact, it arrived twice. Earlier today, Chris Rose was visiting, and we were combing over all of my review copies when the doorbell rang. And I raced out there to see what the haul would be, and it was a different mailman than usual, and it was just one book. It was a paperback collection of the movie reviews of Roger Ebert. Not something I requested, but I'll gladly, I'll gladly read bits and pieces of it. And I thought, well, it's a miserable, stormy day, and it's a Saturday, so probably that's all you'll get. And Chris wasn't gone 15 minutes when I got another doorbell ring and another shipment of books. This one not much bigger, but still bigger than one book. So I thought we'd go through them together. No boxes. And I'm pretty sure that Saturday in the snow and slush I won't be getting another delivery. So we'll have to make do with these. But this is our first April mail haul. So let's keep track this time and see how many we do. So what's this first one? Okay, this is not something I requested. This is... Oh no, it's due on March 21st. I don't have a March shelf of books anymore. This is Hell's Traces. 1 Murder, 2 Families, 35 Holocaust Memorials by Victor Ripp. In July 1942, the French police in Paris, acting for the German military government, arrested Victor Ripp's 3-year-old cousin Alexandra. 2 months later, the boy was killed in Auschwitz. In Hell's Traces, Ripp examines this act through the prism of family history. In addition to the boy, 10 members of Ripp's family on his father's side died in the Holocaust. His mother's side of the family, numbering 30 people, was in Berlin when Hitler came to power. Without exception, they escaped the final solution. Hell's Traces tells the story of the 2 families' divergent paths. Okay. All right. Well, that might be worth making an exception for. I've been debating all afternoon what to do with all of the March books that I haven't got to yet. Many of which look really good, many of which look genuinely important, but there are even more April books. So, well, let's move on. See what we have next. What is this? Oh, fantastic! Great. This comes out in April, so it'll go on the April shelf. This is the finished copy of Robert Thorson's The Boatman. This is Henry David Thoreau's River Years. I read this when we got the advance copy. The Boatman gives readers a Thoreau for the Anthropocene epoch. As a backyard naturalist and river enthusiast, Thoreau was keenly aware of how humans had altered the waterways and meadows of his beloved Concord River Valley. And he recognized that he himself, a land surveyor by trade, was as complicit in these transformations as the bankers, lawyers, builders, landowners, and elected officials who were his clients. Robert Thorson tells a compelling story of intellectual growth as Thoreau moved from anger to lament to acceptance of the ways humans had changed the river he cherished more than Walden Pond. And I read the advance copy and just loved it, but I'm very happy to have the finished copy with all the notes and stuff, because I want to review this, certainly, for open letters, but I'd kind of like to review it for a larger audience and for pay. And if I do that, it's always good to have the critical apparatus. And then we'll move on. What's this little thing here? What have we got here? We keep our garbage collected here. What is this? Oh, okay. Is this, I think this is a paperback reprint? Pretty sure this is a paperback. Yeah, this is a paperback reprint. Okay, so I absolutely cannot review paperback reprints unless I do them on my blog. But I just can't justify it any other way. So this is April 25th. This is The Cost of Courage by Charles Kaiser. And it was reviewed by everybody. It's got blurbs from the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, and the Christian Science Monitor. What? I didn't review it. What did the Christian Science Monitor's stooge say? In his moving new book, the author recounts the efforts of multiple members of a single Paris family to sabotage the Nazi occupation and hasten an Allied victory. The result is a story with the detailed intimacy of a journal and the powerful immediacy of a novel. Anybody could have written that. Okay. All right. Well, I read The Cost of Courage when it first came out, but I might read it again. I sometimes put a paperback in my shoulder bag. Let's see here. What is next? What is next? Oh, fantastic! All right, this is due in April, of course. Everything's due in April. But this is not something I requested, but I've actually seen this in catalogs and wished that I had it. Somehow or other, my copy came with a bit of schmutz on the cover. That never happens. This is Raptor, A Journey Through Birds. We've got a bunch of raptors in the Arnold Arboretum right across the street from where I live. And it's fun to watch them. They are mesmerizing birds. From the merlin to the golden eagle, the goshawk to the honey buzzard, James MacDonald Lockhart's stunning debut is a quest of beak, talon, wing, and sky. On its surface, Raptor is a journey across the British Isles in search of 15 species of bird of prey. But as Lockhart seeks out these elusive predators, his quest becomes so much more. An incomparably elegant elegy on the beauty of the British landscape and, through the birds, a journey toward understanding and awesome power at the heart of the natural world. I'm sold. Very strange, though, that a thing like this would come with no pictures. It just seems like a natural that it would, but maybe they would distract. I certainly won't miss them myself. All right, on we go. We're almost done here. What is this one? This is big and flat. What will this be? Ooh, okay. This is another thing I didn't request. Also due in April. I don't know what that April shelf is going to do. I don't know what it's going to look like. I honestly don't. It's just completely swamped now, and every book is April. So this is Prague, the city and its river. Look at that. So it's a larger. The French flaps. It's a larger picture book in history of Prague. Oh my. Very nice. Very nice. Look at that. I lived in Prague for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, but almost all the places that I have been, it was one of the strongest temptations I had to make it one of the places where I actually live for longer than just a little window, but for a long time, for months or longer than that. It was one of the. I was more strongly tempted by it than almost any other place to do. I never did, and now I never will. But it tempted me because it's a magical place and the people are wonderful. Oh, that's great! I didn't know that was coming. That's fantastic. And then the last thing. That's one of these vacuum pack things for our first mail haul of the month. What is this? Oh, okay. All right. This is, I think we saw the advance copy of this a long time ago. This will no doubt come out in April. Yes, is this April? Yes, it's April. This is a very nice copy from Nation Books of It's Up to the Women by Eleanor Roosevelt, with an introduction by Joe Lepore, and a blurb by Blanche Wiesen Cook, who's Eleanor Roosevelt's greatest biographer by a long shot. Her Eleanor Roosevelt books are, the volumes of her biography are incredibly good. Yes, okay. I got this. I got this from a publisher a while ago, and I read it, and it was not actually the first time that I've read it, and I was struck by it, and of course, its subject matter has become extra bittersweet in the interval between when I read that galley and now that the finished copy, because the assumption of the whole world when I got, at the time that I read that advanced copy, was that the next president of the United States would be a woman. And now I get this very pretty finished copy, and the president of the United States is not only not a woman, but an open sexist. So who's presiding over a Congress that clearly views women as second-class citizens and chattel. And yet they voted. They voted for this man. And that's interesting. That not the voting, not the whole political thing, but no, the way that a change in non-bookish in the circumstances of the world can radically alter the way you read a book. That I won't be able to resist rereading this now. I will read it. Probably tonight, just to see, just to relish in that change, even though it's a little depressing. I think it's interesting that they would reprint this. All right. So that was a fairly handleable mail haul, but it's got quite a few things in it that I want to get to right away. I guess it's a new month, so I might as well. So there's Prague, the city and its river. There's It's Up to the Women by Eleanor Roosevelt. There's A Journey Through Birds, a study of raptors in the British Isles. There's The Cost of Courage, a paperback reprint. There's The Boatman, about Henry David Thoreau's river years. And there's Hell's Traces, a book about varying fates of family branches in the Holocaust. Very interesting stuff. And almost all of it. I mean, It's Up to the Women, the Prague book, Raptor, and the Boatman. I want to get to all of them right away. But I've already sort of set my weekend reading now, haven't I? It's a mess over here on the 1st of April at Hyde Cottage. I'll go and see to it. Thank you, BookTube.